Tonight on Our News Live at 7, Deja Vu. Just 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene, Bahamians living in Florida are once again bracing for impact. This time in the path of Category 5 Hurricane Milton. We have the story on how they're working around the clock to secure their homes, stock up on essentials, and ensure their families are safe. But first, a look at how we're preparing at home as the Defense Force cancels all leave and Bahamas Air gets ready to evacuate. Tonight on Our News Live at 7, Deja Vu. Just 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene, Bahamians living in Florida are once again bracing for impact. This time in the path of Category 5 Hurricane Milton. We have the story on how they're working around the clock to secure their homes, stock up on essentials, and ensure their families are safe. But first, a look at how we're preparing at home as the Defense Force cancels all leave and Bahamas Air gets ready to evacuate Bahamian students in Florida. Plus, remembering veteran broadcaster Darrell Miller. Our Sasha Lightbourne sits down with his former colleagues. And then in our news at 7:30, a senator resigns. We have the details on why Progressive Liberal Party Senator Quinton Lightbourne stepped down from the upper chamber. All that and more as Our News Live at 7 starts now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Marlena Leonard, in for Candino Knowles. Well, millions of people across neighboring Florida are preparing for the monster storm Milton, which intensified into a major hurricane, with Tampa Bay and other parts of Central Florida in its sights. Storm warnings have triggered evacuation orders in those areas of the Sunshine State in the likely path of the storm. But here's where we factor in. Milton could make landfall by Wednesday in the Tampa Bay area and even remain a hurricane as it moves across Central Florida and into the Atlantic Ocean, putting islands in the northwest Bahamas at risk. Local forecasters are hoping a number of factors will lessen the chances of any major weather, but it's still too early to tell. So for now, we prepare and wait. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is live in our weather center tonight with the latest on Monster Storm Milton. Greg, in helping us to understand where this storm is, what is the potential threat to the northwest Bahamas over the next few days?
Gale warnings, gale watch actually is in effect. We do expect some very strong winds. Won't be too much in terms of any tropical storm conditions because the system is going to be well to the north of us. But we are going to get the rain bands out of this system that will continue to impact the northwest Bahamas and the northern islands. Bimini, Grand Bahama, and the Abacos, as you mentioned, those are the islands that we are really going to be concerned about. Of course, we're asking you boaters and you beachgoers, if you're out there on the waters, it is time now to put those boats in dock, and you beachgoers are asked to stay out of the water because showers and thunderstorms will likely be affecting us during that time frame.
Awesome. And so what do we need to pay attention to over the next few days?
Basically, we're going to continue to watch the progress of this system. The Northwest Bahamas really is going to be seeing the bulk of this, the activity associated with the storm. Rain bands, as I mentioned, some of those rain bands will be really dropping quite a bit of rainfall across as we're expecting anywhere from 4 to 6 inches and isolated amounts from 8 to 10 inches expected across those islands. So flooding is a possibility with those rain bands. We could also have tornadic water spot activity. And of course, as I mentioned, gale warnings gale watch, is in effect for the northern islands. So boaters and beachgoers, please stay out of the waters. And if you're out there, make sure you put those boats in port.
All right, thanks, Greg. Well, be sure and join us again at 7:30 for more tracking information on Hurricane Milton. Well, as all eyes are on Hurricane Milton, the Defense Force today announcing that leave for all members has been canceled with immediate effect, with an exception only for those on secondment, sick leave, special leave, and compassionate leave, along with other special conditions. Commodore Raymond King confirming with Our News briefly this morning, saying the reason for canceling the leave is due to the potential impact Hurricane Milton could have on the Bahamas. All personnel attached to the Coral Harbor base are expected to report for duty tomorrow at 8:40 a.m., while those attached to the Harbor Patrol Unit, Port Security, Air Wing Unit, and Military Force and Police Force Protection Unit are expected to report to their respective place of duties. As Hurricane Milton barrels towards Central Florida, Bahamians are in a rush to get home. The hurricane quickly grew into a Category 5 storm in a matter of hours, prompting Bahamas Air to ease some of its policies for Bahamians returning home. Bethany McDermott is following this and joins us live from the Lynden Pindling International Airport with more on the evacuation flights. Bethany?
Marlena, that evacuation flight coming from Central Florida, Orlando to be exact, has been boarded and is ready for departure. But officials telling us moments ago that if the weather continued to deteriorate, they will make a detour. The flight was originally set to leave Orlando, go to Grand Bahama first, and then make its final stop here in New Providence. But that may not happen. Again, if weather conditions continue to worsen, they say they will come straight to New Providence. But of course, how did we get here? As Hurricane Milton heads for Central Florida, like we've already mentioned, Bahamian students in Orlando, or Central Florida to be exact, requested an evacuation flight. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Bahamas are quickly springing into action to make that possible. Now, of course, Bahamas are balancing this flight along with all of its other international and domestic flights. Now, again, we expected that flight to arrive here at around 10 p.m. tonight, but if that detour happens, we could expect the flight to touch down in New Providence at around 9 p.m. Bahamas Air also telling us that we could see their flight schedules to Central Florida and on other areas in Florida impacted because of this system, but the same could not be said for every local airline. We spoke to Western Air CEO and President Rexy Roll. She says, as it stands right now, everything will continue as scheduled.
We're not seeing where we need to make any immediate flight adjustments. It's currently not directly impacting our flights into South Florida, which we fly between Nassau and Freeport into Fort Lauderdale. But obviously the system is continuously changing, so our dispatchers are monitoring it very closely. If there are any changes later on, particularly we're looking at Wednesday and Thursday, we would contact the passengers directly.
Now, Marlena, at this time, you're unable to say how many people are on board that aircraft, but of course, that's something we will find out once the flight touches down here in New Providence. This is something, obviously, we will continue to follow. Coming to you live from Lynden Pindling International Airport, I'm Bethany McDermott, sending it back to you on the desk, Marlena.
All right, thanks, Bethany. Of course, we're wishing all of those students a safe flight home. Well, Bahamians living in Florida are once again bracing for a major storm. Hurricane Milton is now a powerful system barreling across the Gulf of Mexico. Our Delvardo Emmanuel spoke with a Bahamian family who's in Milton's path, and they're saying they're working around the clock to secure their homes, stock up on essentials, and ensure that their families are safe.
This storm is the first that is actually a direct hit to the Tampa Bay area. You know, it's not just like gliding up the coast, the west coast of Florida. We have definitely taken all precautions that we know.
Hurricane Milton is being described as one of the most powerful systems to threaten Florida in recent years. The storm is packing winds in excess of 160 miles per hour, with forecasters warning of catastrophic damage if it makes landfall in its current strength. Romika Adderley, along with her husband and 2 children, live in Wesley Chapel, just a few minutes out of the Tampa Bay area. Adderley's husband is the pastor of Forest Hill Church of God of Prophecy in Tampa. As Milton continues to track closer, they're taking no chances.
We have definitely walked through filling the tubs with water, making sure we have buckets that have water in them. You know, we've done the fill your Ziploc bags, put them in the freezer in case you need ice quickly. I think our country's prepared us well.
According to weather experts, the storm's impact could be felt across hundreds of miles, with life-threatening storm surge expected to inundate coastal communities. While they are not in a flood-prone area, the family of 4 is prepared to evacuate if need be.
Unless we were in an evacuation zone or unless something tragic occurred, they recommend that you stay in place. So we were thinking through what if something were to happen. We probably would go north as opposed to south. But for right now, we're still waiting to see what the next 12 to 24 hours brings for us before we make those final decisions.
Now the family of four was in the Tampa Bay area during the passing of Hurricane Helene just 2 weeks ago. Adelie shares what it's like having to prepare for yet another storm.
You're like, okay, we just dealt with Helene. Like I said, we have a parishioner who is not even finished cleaning out their home. To this, over the next 24 hours, we're trying to ensure that everything is out of their home into a pod and somewhere safe. They're in a hotel. So it's just that emotional and physical weariness.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvardo Emmanuel.
Thanks, Delvardo. Well, with the threat of Hurricane Milton looming, many residents on Grand Bahama are concerned about their electricity supply. We spoke to officials from the Grand Bahama Power Company who are reassuring the community that there's no need for alarm. They've activated their storm preparedness plan and say they're fully equipped to handle a major storm. They're also promising there will not be a controlled shutdown of the power supply.
Our inventory level is adequate. Crews are prepared to respond, assess to any damage or outage. Right now, for outages, the norm is the system is designed to protect itself. So if you get an outage in your area or your community, this simply means that you will remain off because we don't want to damage the equipment. I also want to urge customers, if you see any down power lines, not to try to move it, or not to try to drive over it, because this could be fatal because we don't know if it's still energized. So nothing is de-energized until we deem it so.
Now be sure to stay tuned as our Italia Hall is live at 7:30 with more on the ground from Grand Bahama. Well, condolences continue from politicians, civil leaders, and journalists on the passing of veteran broadcaster and talk show host Daryl Miller. Larger than life, Mr. Provocative, and a nose for news, just some of the phrases used to describe the veteran journalist who passed away on Sunday at the age of 69. Our Sasha Lightbourne sat down with three of his former colleagues earlier today.
Daryl Miller was the single most popular personality in broadcasting in this country.
Daryl Miller started his journalism career at the Nassau Guardian as a sports reporter. In 1978, he joined the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. Miller quickly established himself as an astute journalist. He left ZNS and after several years returned to the airwaves in the mid-90s with the start of Love 97. His years at Love helped to lay the foundation for the popularity of talk radio in the country. Former Education Minister Jeff Lloyd was also part of that stellar Love 97 team.
Daryl was an extraordinary talent. Let's absolutely be clear about this. He was born for the news. He had what we call in journalism a nose for the news.
In 2000, Miller returned to the Broadcasting Corporation in a senior management role and helped to usher in major changes at the BCB. It was also during this period that he took on national prominence with hugely popular shows like The Daryl Miller Show. It was here he became best known for his dramatic coverage of the 2001 straw market fire, a moment that former colleague Michelle Malcolm remembers all too well.
I went in there and I simply said, Bay Street on fire. What? Ma, Daryl jump up and he couldn't find a driver. Daryl literally run to Bay Street.
From ZNS.
From ZNS.
And she says this trait stands out amongst all others when referring to Miller.
Hunger for truth and boldness.
Now, Miller's decomposed body was found just after 3 p.m. yesterday, right here at his Minnie Street home. May his soul rest in peace. Reporting for Our News, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Progressive Liberal Party Senator Quinton Lightbourne has resigned. Lightbourne making the announcement as the Senate met this morning. It comes months after he took up the post of alternate executive director of the Inter-American Development Bank. Jasmine Brown reports.
In a nearly 12-minute speech, former Senator Quinton Lightbourne announced his resignation from the upper house this morning, calling his time as a senator one of the greatest moments of his life.
I rise to officially resign as a senator in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
His resignation comes nearly 3 years to the day he was sworn into the post in a packed ballroom at the Bahama Resort on October 6, 2021. Lightbourne, who was one of the youngest serving senators, was appointed alternate executive director for the IDB's Caribbean constituency on July 1st. The new post required he move to Washington, D.C. That led senior members of the Free National Movement to question his serving as a senator while living in the U.S. While he acknowledged the move, he told fellow senators several factors played a role in his decision.
As was announced a few months ago, I have been appointed to serve as the alternate executive director of the Inter-American Development Bank in charge of the Caribbean constituency based in Washington, D.C. As today marks the start of the new session of the Senate, it is timely for me to make this announcement. Serving in this place has been the greatest honor and privilege of my life.
Lightbourne thanked the Prime Minister for appointing him, his fellow senators, and his family, who he says have been a pillar of strength.
Thank you for standing by my side during the long hours and the moments when duty called. Without your support, none of this would have been possible. And even as I think of my family, I am excited to begin a new and even greater journey. In a few days' time, for the very first time, I am due to become a father of the birth of my little baby girl.
As the former senator moves on to a new chapter in his life, he encouraged senators to continue their work of serving the Bahamian people. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. Our Jerome Sawyer recently sat down for an exclusive interview with Lightbourne. We have a clip from the candid conversation coming up on Our News at 7:30. Police in Grand Bahama seized 67 pounds of suspected marijuana. The drugs, which have an estimated street value of $67,000, was found in a derelict watercraft near Williamstown Cemetery around 6 p.m. on Sunday. No arrests were made. And Darian Smith, the man accused of murdering his girlfriend's 4-year-old daughter in 2021, is seeking to overturn his murder conviction. Smith was sentenced to 25 years in prison as part of a plea deal in January 2023. Donya Walker, who was affectionately known as Bella, died on November 5, 2021, as a result of a beating allegedly inflicted by Smith. Despite pleading guilty, Smith now maintains that his former lawyer didn't properly advise him. Smith returns to court next month for a lawyer to be appointed. Still to come on Our Sports at 7 p.m., JJ and the New York Liberty have advanced to the WNBA Finals for the second consecutive year. And then in world news, violence in Mexico in the spotlight as a Mexican mayor was assassinated just 6 days after taking office. That's coming up when Our News returns.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Hey y'all, are you ready to be inspired? I am thrilled to announce that Inspire Her 2024 is coming, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Join us at the luxurious Atlantis Hotel Paradise Island on October 10th for an evening filled with inspiration, empowerment, and connection. The evening session promises to offer exclusive networking opportunities and transformative discussions. We invite everyone to attend and to be part of this incredible gathering. Hear from leading women activists, entrepreneurs, CEOs, thought leaders, and more as they share their stories, insights, and wisdom. Tickets are now available for purchase through the Alive Events app. Corporate packages and vendor opportunities are also available, providing a unique platform for businesses to showcase their support and connect with a diverse audience. Grab your girlfriends, mark your calendars for October 10th, and join us at the Inspire Her 2024 Women's Conference. See you there.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by Tantier Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. After eliminating the defending champs, Jonquil Jones and her New York Liberty are headed back to the WNBA Finals. Jones finished with 14 points and 6 rebounds in New York's series-clinching 76-62 win over the Aces Sunday afternoon at the Michelob Ultra Arena in Las Vegas. For Jones, it'll make her 4th finals appearance of her career, 2 appearances with the Connecticut Sun, and now back-to-back seasons with the Liberty.
We spoke about it pre-game about, JJ. She's important for us to win this series. A little frustrating with her fouls, but I thought she maintained her emotional stability there and went back in, and we spaced her a fair bit. She was making shots.
It was a competitive weekend of sailing in Elizabeth Harbor as the Opti Nationals returned to Exuma. Over 40 young sailors participated in the Fidelity Bahamas Optimist National Championships hosted by the Exuma Sailing Club. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Miami Heat got ready for their upcoming 2024-25 NBA campaigns by hosting training camp right here in the Bahamas. The 76ers hosted camp at the Atlantis Resort with national team players Eric Gordon and Isaiah Mobley in attendance. The Heat hosted their camp at the Bahamar Resort and concluded the week with an open scrimmage. This is the 4th time the franchise has hosted training camp here in the Bahamas.
This is almost like a second home for me. Me and my family come here all the time. It's only 35 minutes from Miami, a quick flight. All the people here, the Bahamian people, are great people, super welcoming.
It's an active week in New York for Bahamian athletes. Let's take a look at the MLB playoff picture. Jazz Chisholm Jr. and the New York Yankees are hosting the Kansas City Royals in Game 2 of the American League Divisional Series tonight at Yankee Stadium. In the series opener over the weekend, Chisholm finished 1 for 4 and scored the game-winning run on Alex Verdugo's RBI single. Anton Richardson and the New York Mets left Philadelphia with the series tied 1-1 against the Phillies, and now the venue shifts to Citi Field in Queens. That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as Floridians prepare for the U.S. state's largest evacuation effort for years, just 2 weeks after catastrophic Hurricane Helene. And rockets continue to rain down as Israel marked the first anniversary of the October 7th Hamas attack. We have the details when Our News returns.
My name is Trey Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to do the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
When hurricanes and emergencies strike, timely information can save lives. That's why Alive Business brings you bulk SMS messaging, your essential tool for staying informed and safe. Imagine having critical updates and safety tips delivered right to your phone, anytime and anywhere. With bulk SMS messaging, you can send real-time alerts and updates and timely notifications. When every second counts, count on Alive Business bulk SMS messaging. For more information, contact the experts. Are you ready for the stormy season?
Last week, the principal, Mr. Bethel, reached out to us and asked for a total of 5 laptops. After further investigation that he needed more to complete the computer lab, and now we're here today to donate the full 25 laptops.
We realize in the business of education, we need partners. And companies like General Investment have proven themselves.
They are so excited about this to get the laptops.
We apologize for that technical difficulty, but we're now turning our attention to stories making headlines across the world. have been told to prepare for the U.S. state's largest evacuation effort for years as a new hurricane heads for the Gulf Coast, which is still reeling from another historic storm. Layla Sharik-Shahi reports.
Florida is bracing for another major hurricane on the heels of Helene. The state was preparing for its largest evacuation since 2017 as Milton, which authorities say strengthened into a hurricane, bore down on western Florida. Tom Murphy and his family were among Floridians filling up sandbags on Sunday.
Just in terms of preparation, you just got to do what you can early and just get out there, and it is what it is, right?
The U.S. National Hurricane Center projected it will make landfall near the Tampa Bay area on Wednesday. The new hurricane was expected to affect areas already hit hard by Helene, which made landfall further north a little less than 2 weeks ago. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis warned of a potentially higher storm surge and more power outages from Milton compared to Helene, which the state is still reeling from.
This is a 24/7 moment for this debris removal. You have a storm and then have one less than 2 weeks later, two majors back to back. That is not something that is easy. That creates a lot of challenges. And so what we have to do is just do it round the clock until it's no longer safe to do it.
Helene left a wake of destruction across North Carolina, Florida, and much of the South. That storm also killed more than 200 people across 6 states, making it the deadliest named storm to hit the mainland U.S. since Hurricane Katrina killed nearly 1,400 people in 2005.
Rockets fired by Hezbollah rained down on northern Israel on Sunday night into Monday morning as Israel marked the first anniversary of the October 7th Hamas attack. The rockets got past Israeli air defense systems and landed in Haifa, Israel's third largest city, causing casualties and damage to buildings. Hezbollah has been firing rockets at northern Israeli towns and villages following the October 7th attack, saying it's done so in solidarity with Hamas. Israel has escalated its offensive against Hezbollah figures and targets in Lebanon in recent weeks in order to get tens of thousands of its evacuated citizens back to their homes in northern Israel. And the mayor of the capital of Mexico's violence-plagued state of Guerrero was killed on Sunday. Alejandro Arcos was killed just 6 days after he took office as mayor of the city of Chilpancingo, a city of around 280,000 people in southwestern Mexico. The official confirmation came after photos circulated on the messaging app WhatsApp depicting a severed head on top of a pickup truck, appearing to be that of Arcos. Guerrero's state attorney general's office said it was investigating his murder. Arcos' death just comes 3 days after the new city government secretary, Francisco Tapia, was shot to death. Still to come in our news, today in history. Find out interesting facts about the day that was October 7th. And then in our news at 7:30, our Jerome Sawyer gets the details on why Progressive Liberal Party Senator Quinton Lightbourne stepped down from his seat in the upper chamber. And Italia Hall brings the story on the ground from Grand Bahama as residents and officials aren't taking the threat of Hurricane Milton lightly. That's coming up when our news returns.
Ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
This video needs to show us on a different scale. It has to be
extra. What, eh?
Hey, Quay.
Hey, what you saying?
Where you with?
I heard you on the bus stop with my friend.
Okay, so we want to shoot this video, and it's gonna be extra.
All right, Jim. I can just come to you. All right. I need your 25 cents no more.
Hey y'all, are you ready to be inspired? I am thrilled to announce that Inspire Her 2024 is coming, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Join us at the luxurious Atlantis Hotel Paradise Island on October 10th for an evening filled with inspiration, empowerment, and connection. The evening session promises to offer exclusive networking opportunities and transformative discussions. We invite everyone to attend and to be part of this incredible gathering. Hear from leading women activists, entrepreneurs, CEOs, thought leaders, and more as they share their stories, insights, and wisdom. Tickets are now available for purchase through the Alive Events app. Corporate packages and vendor opportunities are also available, providing a unique platform for businesses to showcase their support and connect with a diverse audience. Grab your girlfriends, mark your calendars for October 10th, and join us at the Inspire Her 2024 Women's Conference.
Welcome back to Our News. On this day in Bahamian history, on the 7th of October 1788, former governor of the Bahama Islands, Alexander Bannerman, was born in Aberdeen, Scotland. Then, in 1891, another former governor, John Pope Hennessy, died in Ireland at the age of 57. And in 2016, the Christie administration gave a post-assessment update on the destruction caused by Hurricane Matthew. Well, for the full recap of Today in History and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs or Our News Bahamas on Facebook. Well, that does it for Our News at 7. Joining us now is our Megan Shepherd with the latest headlines. Megan?
Thanks so much, Marlena. Well, still to come, our team coverage of Hurricane Milton continues. This is our Italia Hall is live in Grand Bahama with the rundown on storm prep. Plus, condolences continue to pour in on the life of Bahamian icon Darrell Miller. Here are your latest headlines. Coming up tonight, tracking monster storm Milton. We have the latest on the Category 5 hurricane, expected to make landfall in neighboring Florida in days. Plus, our Italia Hall is live from Grand Bahama as residents in the northern Bahamas take these warnings seriously. And then, moving forward, a former senator announces his resignation as he transitions to a new international post. And a veteran broadcaster celebrated as media colleagues reflect on the life of Darrell Miller.
Kendino Notes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the Our News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Well, what you doing here?
I dig in the well to connect to the house they're building for me in Mavis.
Why you just don't call water and sewage?
Call them for what?
To get your city water. You don't have to worry about your water cutting off when the power cut off. And your water's clean and safe, free from coliform bacteria.
Cauliflower what?
Call us at 302-5500 to make the switch from well water to city water for a more fresh, reliable water supply for you and your family.
Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited looks forward to helping our customers eliminate wasted energy. Energy conservation is the decision and practice of using less energy. Energy efficiency means using less energy to perform the
Welcome to Our News, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. Forecasters are describing it as having characteristics of Hurricane Dorian. Hurricane Milton is on track to pass across central Florida with damaging winds and life-threatening storm surge. Local forecasters are watchful, yet hopeful that the storm's outer bands will have a minimal impact on the Northwest Bahamas. But experience tells us to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Tonight, residents in the Northwest Bahamas are taking no chances. In the last 24 hours, we have witnessed this monster storm grow in size and change a lot of its characteristics. To help us understand just where this storm sits tonight is meteorologist Greg Thompson. Now, Greg, we know meteorologists provide forecasts, but what do we know about this storm right now, and how do we expect that to change in the next 24 hours?
Well, you mentioned it. It's a Category 5 storm. Winds are up to 180 miles per hour, and it is expected to continue its strengthening, rapid intensification. They actually add another word, expected intensification for the system. It's going to be moving over the Florida Loop, or the Gulf Stream Loop, actually, which is a pool of warm water. And the system will continue to move across the Gulf and move across central Florida. What we expect in the Northwest Bahamas will be some rain bands, winds gusting to near gale force, and possibly even some bands containing some tornadic or some waterspout activity. Excessive rainfall expected across most of the islands in the extreme northern islands. That's Bimini, Grand Bahama, and the Abacos. But we will feel some effects here in the capital as well. So those rain bands will be moving through our area, and that will begin on Wednesday as the system approaches the west coast of Florida.
Wow. So what is the expectation for weather conditions for those islands in the Northwest Bahamas for tomorrow and Wednesday? And what are the greatest threats to those islands?
Well, believe it or not, the weather that we are getting right now, that's another low pressure system that is moving across Florida. The National Hurricane Center giving that a 10% chance. But all of that will come together as the system continues to move towards the north and east and across Florida. And as I mentioned, mostly rainfall, gusts, very strong winds. Not really getting to tropical storm force, but up to gale force at least. So we're asking you boaters and you beachgoers out of the water right now. It's not a good time to be out there on the waters or across the extreme northern islands right now.
Thanks so much for that, Greg. Now, Greg joins us later on in this half hour for a full review of the forecast. And with Hurricane Milton expected to impact parts of the Bahamas, the Disaster Risk Management Authority is on high alert and has already met with teams on several islands. Islands in the north like Grand Bahama, Bimini, and even here in New Providence have been blanketed with wet weather and cloudy skies. As the storm bears down on Florida, the weather could worsen. DRM Managing Director Aaron Sargent says a meeting was held late this afternoon with stakeholders.
Meeting was led by our Minister, the Honorable Leon Lundy. We are pleased with the preparation or preparatory exercises that they would have done. Every island disaster risk management consultative committee would have met. They would have discussed their disaster management or family island disaster management plans and their state of readiness. They also communicated some of their challenges, which we are, from the authorities' perspective, seeking to mitigate ahead of any passage of Hurricane Milton.
Now, residents on the island of Grand Bahama are taking the threat of Hurricane Milton very seriously, and so are Bahamian officials. Bahamas Air alerting the Ministry of Foreign Affairs this afternoon that a special flight will evacuate Bahamians out of Florida this evening with a stop in Grand Bahama. That flight is expected to land any minute. Our Italia Hall joins us live at the Grand Bahama International Airport with the latest. Italia, what can you tell us about the conditions on the ground?
Well, Megan, as you mentioned, I am outside the Grand Bahama International Airport where we are waiting on that Bahamas Air flight that is filled with students from South Florida as Hurricane Milton is expected to impact Florida. So far, Megan, residents here are taking the storm very seriously. Earlier today, I visited a local store where they were actively shopping. Let's take a look.
A lot of times we tend to wait for last minutes, but it's really important that we be serious and be prepared. Be prepared. Even if nothing comes our way, to God be the glory. But the best thing to do is be prepared.
And that's a clear indication that residents of Grand Bahama are not taking any chances with Hurricane Milton. On Monday, the island experienced unsettled weather for most of the day, but many residents were out purchasing storm supplies and food. These Grand Bahamians say after Hurricane Dorian, they are determined to not be caught off guard again.
I am really worried about the storm. We live in the Eastern District, over the bridge. And of course, you know, our homes were very, very devastated. And we're still feeling the emotional and financial pinch from the storm.
We'll get the tail end. A lot of wind, a lot of rain. Yeah. But the 3/4, we're soldiers.
Some shoppers were seen gathering essential items like canned goods, fruits, and vegetables.
I want to keep my little pantry stock.
Okay, so what are you coming to purchase today?
I'm going to get some canned stuff. I love fruits, so I'm going to get some fruits also, some almond milk, paper towels, toilet tissue and all that.
Yeah, I came by to get some dry goods, canned goods, bread. I already got my water, so it's a little extra to get me through.
However, one resident expressed he's not too concerned about the storm.
I'm never afraid of the storm. I'm not afraid of, because I'm covered. I'm covered. The blood, so the storm can't do nothing to me.
But others emphasize why it's crucial to prepare.
I am always fearful about storms, especially after Dorian, simply because it had such an adverse effect here in Freeport and throughout the Bahamas, but try to prepare as best you can.
It could be a lifesaver, property saving. It's very important to prepare for a hurricane. Just to avoid all the misery, stock up on essentials, food.
Well, as we can see in that report, Megan, residents here aren't taking any chances, especially after Hurricane Dorian. But for now, we will continue to monitor this Bahamas Air flight outside the Grand Bahama International Airport. Reporting live in Grand Bahama for Our News, I'm Natalia Hall. Back to you in studio.
Thanks so much for that update, Talia. Well, the Grand Bahama Port Authority is also in hurricane preparedness mode as Hurricane Milton threatens the region. This morning, their team met to discuss their hurricane response plan. Deputy Director and City Manager Troy McIntosh says work crews conducted final checks today, ensuring that the department is fully equipped to respond to any storm that may impact the island.
We went over where we are in terms of city drainage, city tree trimming. All of those things would have been completed about 2 months ago. And looking at, with the various rain squalls, what we still need to do. And so there are a few drains, maybe a handful that we need to address. But it's a wait and see to see how we are going to be inundated with this system in terms of rain. We don't think it'll be a wind factor, but more so a very wet rain. Between today and tomorrow, the team is going to go to all of the sites that are currently under construction, speak with the contractors where possible, reach out to them to make sure that they are secure in their site, and any issues that we see to address it and have it be addressed as quickly as possible.
Well, as Hurricane Milton barrels toward Florida, it could impact the northern Bahamas, as we've just heard. Cable Bahamas group of companies taking proactive steps to ensure service isn't interrupted if that happens. CEO of Cable Group of Companies, Franklin Butler, says there has been ongoing meetings and teams are getting ready to spring into action.
A couple of weeks ago, we just completed our business continuity exercise and tabletop exercises as well, just preparing to make sure we have some I guess practical, what we would call emergency response experience. And so I have to say, I think from a network perspective, even this morning, our teams are already on calls, just making sure that all of our networks and all of the systems and redundancies and contingencies we need to have in place are in place. So we can never tell the future, but I can tell you we've got all our teams focused on making sure that every Bahamian across the length and breadth of the Bahamas where we have a network is going to be able to have connectivity during this storm. But I must tell you, my greatest prayer is that the storm stays away.
When Our News comes back from the break, celebrating the life of a Bahamian icon, former colleagues of Darrell Miller remember him for his contributions to the industry. Plus, ensuring continuity and a smooth transition in the government. Quinton Lightbourne resigns from the Senate to take on a post with the IDB. The details coming up when Our News returns.
Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited looks forward to helping our customers eliminate wasted energy. Energy conservation is the decision and practice of using less energy. Energy efficiency means using less energy to perform the same task, unplugging appliances not in use. That's energy conservation. Replacing an old refrigerator, washing machine with a new model, adding insulation to the attic and walls of a home. That's energy efficiency. People conserve to gain more control over their energy bill and to reduce demand on the Earth's natural resources. Take this journey with us as we build for better. BPL.
Inti Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, INTI redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. INTI is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as INTI Corporation shines brighter than ever. INTI Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
A little over 24 hours ago, we learned of the passing of an icon in Bahamian journalism, Darrell Miller. Miller worked at many of the major media houses over the many decades in the field, but a majority of his career was spent at Jones Communications. Our Sasha Lightbourne speaks with two of his former colleagues.
Darrell Miller was a beloved figure in the Bahamian society. His no-nonsense, hard-hitting, and oftentimes controversial style endeared him to the Bahamian public. He had incredible insight into the Bahamian psyche and can be credited with bringing many issues to the Bahamian public. 7 years of his stellar career were spent at Jones Communications with Love 97 Radio. Founder Wendell Jones, now ambassador to Washington, says there would be no Love 97 without Darrell Miller.
When I started Jones Communications in 1994, he thought it was a no-brainer that he should be a part of it. And he just came to me and in his inimitable style, he just demanded the job. He helped to make the station a dominant station.
One of those that he mentored while at Love 97 was Candia Dames, now managing editor at the Nassau Guardian. She recalls the first time she met Miller.
I first met Darrell in 1995 while I was finishing up my time at the College of the Bahamas. We had Journalism Day. Darrell came to speak to the students, and I think I introduced him that day. And after he addressed the students, he came up to me and asked me if I needed an internship. And I said, yes, I did.
To his former boss, colleague, and friend, Miller will always be remembered as
a consummate professional broadcaster, someone who went beyond the surface of the news.
Miller was 69 years old. Reporting for Our News, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Well, the resignation of Progressive Liberal Party Senator Quinton Lightbourne from the upper chamber today was not completely unexpected. Lightbourne was appointed as alternate executive director of the Caribbean constituency for the Inter-American Development Bank in Washington in July. It's a position that required he relocate to the U.S. Capitol, which up to now meant he would have to commute to maintain both roles. In an exclusive with our Jerome Sawyer, the now former senator says the time was right for him to step down, to now focus solely on his new role with the IDB.
It was very much important to ensure continuity and a smooth transition in the government, as this is the start of the opening of the parliamentary year in the Senate. And I think that allowed the government to pretty much transform and transition and move forward.
Coming up in sports, JJ is headed back to the WNBA Finals, and in Exuma, we have a 3-time champ at Opti Nationals.
Plus, wine connoisseurs and folks just looking for a good time flock to the annual Wine and Arts Festival over the weekend. Stick with us.
Bahamas, are you ready? Keep the vibe alive. Music group, along with our for sales, present the best of the best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded. This is the biggest one-day all-Bahamian concert of the year. Featuring KB, D-Mac, Abby, Mama D, Fan Shaw, Shine 242, The Falcon, and more. Mark your calendars. It's going down November the 2nd at Super Club Races Ground. Tickets now available at BahamasEtickets.com or both Beauty Shack location. General admission $60. VIP, Skybox, and Sky Pods also available. For more info, call 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Experience the magic once again with more legends for one night only. Come party with us November 2nd at Best of the Best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded.
Hey y'all, are you ready to be inspired? I am thrilled to announce that Inspire Her 2024 is coming, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Join us at the luxurious Atlantis Hotel Paradise Island on October 10th for an evening filled with inspiration, empowerment, and connection. The evening session promises to offer exclusive networking opportunities and transformative discussions. We invite everyone to attend and to be part of this incredible gathering. Hear from leading women activists, entrepreneurs, CEOs, thought leaders, and more as they share their stories, insights, and wisdom. Tickets are now available for purchase through the Alive Events app. Corporate packages and vendor opportunities are also available, providing a unique platform for businesses to showcase their support and connect with a diverse audience. Grab your girlfriends, mark your calendars for October 10th, and join us at the Inspire Her 2024 Women's Conference. See you there.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. After eliminating the defending champs, Jonquil Jones and her New York Liberty are headed back to the WNBA Finals. Jones finished with 14 points and 6 rebounds in New York's series-clinching 76-62 win over the Aces Sunday afternoon at the Michelob Ultra Arena in Las Vegas. This marks the 6th finals appearance in franchise history and the 2nd time the Liberty has reached the finals in consecutive seasons. For Jones, it'll make her 4th finals appearance of her career, 2 appearances with the Connecticut Sun, and now back-to-back seasons with the Liberty. The Liberty will now face the winner of the semifinal series between the Connecticut Sun and the Minnesota Lynx on Thursday, October 10th at Barclays Center for Game 1 of the WNBA Finals.
Yeah, no, it was really big for us. We spoke about it pre-game about, JJ. She's important for us to win this series. A little frustrating with her fouls, but I thought she maintained her emotional stability there and went back in, and we spaced her a fair bit. She's making shots. She made 3 big shots and defended really well.
It was a competitive weekend of sailing in Elizabeth Harbor as the Opti Nationals returned to Exuma. Over 40 young sailors participated in the Fidelity Bahamas Optimist National Championships hosted by the Exuma Sailing Club. 14-year-old Finley McKinney Lambert of the Eleuthera Sailing Association headlined the event with his 3rd consecutive Opti National title. Competing in the Red Championship fleet, McKinney Lambert won 2 of the 4 races in the series and finished 2nd in the others for a total of 6 points. The 2nd overall finisher was Sullivan Resnick out of the Southern Yacht Club out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Among local finishers, Emmett Knowles of the Exuma Club was 2nd and 6th overall. In the beginners green fleet, Fletcher Johnson of the Hopetown Junior Sailing Club completed a sweep and won all 4 races in the series. His teammate Valentina Pinder finished 2nd. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Miami Heat got ready for their upcoming 2024-25 NBA campaigns by hosting training camp right here in the Bahamas. The 76ers hosted camp at the Atlantis Resort with national team players Eric Gordon and Isaiah Mobley in attendance.
Main thing is can we get away? Can we get a great facility, where people are really going to welcome us and give us everything we need, which they're doing here. It's been a great 2 days.
The Heat hosted their camp at the Bahamar Resort and concluded the week with an open scrimmage. Over 400 Bahamian student athletes were at the scrimmage and got a first look at the Miami roster for the season. This is the 4th time the franchise has hosted training camp here in the Bahamas. It's an active week in New York for Bahamian athletes. Let's take a look at the MLB playoff picture. Jazz Chisholm Jr. and the New York Yankees are hosting the Kansas City Royals in Game 2 of the American League Divisional Series tonight at Yankee Stadium. In the series opener over the weekend, Chisholm finished 1 for 4 and scored the game-winning run on Alex Verdugo's RBI single. Anton Richardson and the New York Mets left Philadelphia with the series tied 1-1 against the Phillies, and now the venue shifts to Citi Field in Queens. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS, an absolutely insane week for Bahamian sports in the Big Apple. 3 Bahamians chasing titles in the biggest sports media market in the world. I'm sure we all understand how important this is, right? You guys get it. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on Our News tonight, our Danielle Miller was back at it again this weekend. The exciting recap on the Bahamas National Trust signature event. But first, Greg is back with your extended weather forecast. That's coming up right after this quick break.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Troy Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
When hurricanes and emergencies strike, timely information can save lives. That's why Alive Business brings you bulk SMS messaging, your essential tool for staying informed and safe. Imagine having critical updates and safety tips delivered right to your phone, anytime and anywhere. With bulk SMS messaging, you can send real-time alerts and updates and timely notifications. When every second counts, count on Alive Business bulk SMS messaging. For more information, contact the experts. Are you ready for this?
This is our news. Welcome back. Well, the top story is Milton, which is a Category 5 storm, and it has winds up to 180 miles per hour, and that will continue to be the trend as the system continues its eastward track just along the northern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. But once it moves across that gap between the west coast of Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula, it's going to be moving into an area of very warm waters. So it's going to continue to intensify, staying at Cat 5 as it continues to push towards the northwest. These are the warnings for Florida. We have a gale watch in effect for the Northwest Bahamas. That will continue through tomorrow, and it's likely that we may have to upgrade that. But of course, that's it's still in the works. But lots of rain bands expected with this system. Very strong winds across the Northwest Bahamas, and that will continue through to Wednesday and into Thursday as the system crosses Florida. And of course, there's another low pressure that's basically pushing this weather across us, and that will continue to be the trend. But by Thursday afternoon, by Friday, late Thursday into Friday, that system will be a Cat 1 and will be moving away from us, so conditions will be improving for the weekend. This is a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, we will keep those showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, and of course, we are asking you in the Northwest Bahamas, particularly Grand Bahama, Bimini, and the Abacos, to continue to monitor the progress of the system and any advisories being put out by the Department of Meteorology. Showers and thunderstorms expected, winds up to gale force likely across the extreme northern islands, so it's going to be a messy week for us as Milton continues to move away from us. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
Thanks so much for that, Greg. Well, the Bahamas National Trust hosting their 32nd Wine and Arts Festival this weekend. The festivities began on Friday with a members-only night and open to the public on Saturday and Sunday. Our Danielle Miller attended the event and has all of the highlights.
You are hearing the Essence Band at BNT's Wine and Art Festival. The day was filled with a lot of pouring, a lot of laughter, a lot of food, and a lot of fun. Here's your recap.
As we entered the retreat on Village Road, we quickly got a glass to sample the variety of wines at each booth. Some booths were tucked away depicting the true definition of watering hole, while others were in plain view. But It was more than just sampling the Moscatos and Chardonnays. We admired the work of local artists, enjoyed tasty foods, and interacted with event sponsors as we strolled the grounds with hundreds of attendees from not only New Providence, but other islands.
So it reminds me of the Ryan Nature Center back home. I would always go to the festival, but I gone to everyone every year, and it gave me the same vibes on a bigger scale. Selections. It's so much. It's all in abundance.
I know, like the Prosecco was really good. The Lamarco?
The Lamarco Prosecco is my favorite.
It was
by
so
far,
yes.
by far.
And then there's this one Riesling. There's only one Riesling out here, and Riesling is my favorite. So I think I'm just going to just get a bottle one time.
After hours, the festival ignited their popular champagne lounge, concluding each night with the Heineken after party. And for those who were there for more than delighting their taste buds, Alive had its own booth to showcase the latest in cellular technology.
We have a promotion with a Nokia G11 Plus. We have it for $99. When you purchase it, you get a free earbud along with it. And we have other phones like the Samsungs, TCLs, Nokias.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Looks like a great time. Thanks so much, Danielle. And thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a safe and wonderful evening.